You look at the sticker on your laptop. Intel HD graphics, Core i3, 4 gigabytes of RAM. For years, the internet has aggressively told you this machine is nothing more than a glorified typewriter. They tell you to stick to browser games. They tell you to fire up emulators from the 1990s and stay in your lane. They tell you that open-world gaming is a luxury locked behind a massive hardware paywall. They are completely wrong. There is a massive, sweeping misconception in the gaming community that you absolutely need a dedicated, heavy-duty GPU to experience beautiful, living worlds. You don't. You really don't. You just need to know which developers actually knew how to optimize their code. You need to know exactly where to look. Today, we are looking at 5 visually stunning, entirely open-world games that are completely playable on your barebones, low-end PC. We are talking about genuine, high-fidelity experiences that do not look like pixelated slideshows. We are talking about sprawling maps, dynamic weather systems, and complex artificial intelligence. Now, these aren't the exhausted blockbusters everyone talks about every single day. These are the medium-popular, atmospheric, sprawling adventures that time forgot, and that your integrated graphics chip can actually handle without bursting into flames. Grab your keyboard. Let's tear into the list. Sleeping Dogs. First up on the block, the neon-drenched, rain-soaked streets of Hong Kong. This is Sleeping Dogs. Released back in 2012, this game is an absolute masterclass in martial arts action and gripping undercover cop drama. It flew somewhat under the radar for a lot of people when it first dropped, largely overshadowed by other massive sandbox games. But the players who found it, they refused to let it go. It has a cult following for a very good reason. You step into the shoes of Wei Shen, a deeply troubled police officer who was ordered to infiltrate the Sun On Yi Triad. Your mission is to tear them down from the inside. But the deeper you go, the more the line between the law and the brutal criminal underworld begins to blur. You start caring about the people you are supposed to be destroying. The combat is what sets this apart from anything else in the genre. It is brutally physical. You're not just shooting your way out of problems, you are slamming thugs into phone booths, tossing them over ledges, and executing flawless kung fu counters that still put modern AAA games to shame. It feels heavy, impactful, and deeply satisfying. And visually, it looks incredibly gorgeous. The wet asphalt reflecting the neon city lights at midnight is fiercely atmospheric. But here is the absolute best part. It is wildly friendly to potato PCs. The original 2012 version runs remarkably smoothly on an Intel Core i3 with basic integrated graphics like the HD 620, demanding only 4 gigabytes of memory to get you straight into the action. It is widely celebrated on low-end gaming forums as a title that just flat-out works, proving you don't need a heavy rig to experience a cinematic masterpiece. Mad Max next. We leave the suffocating city behind and head straight into the vast, unforgiving wasteland. This is Mad Max, released in 2015. If there was ever an industry award for the most perfectly optimized PC game of the last decade, this would be a top contender. It is nothing short of a technical miracle. The world has ended. The oceans have completely dried up, leaving nothing but endless deserts and rusted ship hulls. All that matters now is gasoline, scrap metal, and violent survival. You are Max Rockatansky, and after a sadistic warlord ambushes you and steals your iconic interceptor, you are left with absolutely nothing. Your entire journey revolves around building a new, heavily armored vehicle, the Magnum Opus, from the ground up. The vehicular combat here is deafening, heavy, and totally chaotic. You are physically ripping the wheels off enemy convoys with a mounted harpoon, ramming spiked trucks off the edges of massive canyons, and engaging in brutal, bone-crunching fistfights in the dirt. When you look at the sweeping sandstorms, the intricate particle effects, and the massive fiery explosions, you would instantly assume this would melt a basic laptop. But Avalanche Studios worked absolute magic with their engine. Extensive testing has repeatedly shown that even modern low-end integrated chips handle this game with surprising grace. It is officially playable on older hardware, and running on a Core i5 or i3 with Iris Xe or standard Intel HD graphics, you can hit incredibly stable frame rates on low settings at 720p resolution. It is the ultimate testament to the fact that great graphics do not always require dedicated video memory. Dragon's Dogma. Dark Arisen. Now, we shift gears completely from burning gasoline and rusted metal to dark fantasy, deep magic, and towering mythical beasts. This is Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. This is a sprawling action, RPG, that point-blank refuses to hold your hand, throwing you violently into the massive, dangerous land of Granzes. A massive dragon literally rips your heart out of your chest in the opening minutes, and your only mission is to hunt it down across the continent and get it back. The physical scale of this game is staggering. You aren't just standing on the ground, swiping at the ankles of giant monsters. You are physically climbing up the fur-covered backs of chimeras. You are clinging desperately to the wings of furious griffins while they take flight, trying to bring them down mid-air. You target specific weak points while your AI companions, called pawns, shout out tactical advice and cast elemental spells. The day and night cycle in this game is genuinely terrifying. When the sun goes down, it is pitch black. You can barely see past the dim glow of your oil lantern, and the things waiting in the dark are entirely lethal. And yet, despite the complexity, this massive, physics-heavy fantasy world runs phenomenally well on weak hardware. Players have consistently proven that even ancient processors combined with an Intel HD 4000 or 4400 chip and a measly 4 GB of RAM can run the game at a highly steady 30 frames per second on lower settings. It is a massive, multi-layered adventure that asks almost nothing of your machine. Just Cause 2. If you want pure, unfiltered, ridiculous chaos, this next one is specifically built for you. This is Just Cause 2. Welcome to the tropical island paradise of Panau. It is huge, it is beautiful, and almost everything in it can be blown to pieces in spectacular fashion. You take on the role of Rico Rodriguez, a completely over-the-top operative whose entire job is to destabilize a corrupt, authoritarian regime by violently destroying their infrastructure. The map is over 400 square miles of dense jungles, snowy mountain peaks, and sprawling urban cities. You traverse all of it using an arm-mounted grappling hook and an infinitely deployable parachute. You can grapple a pursuing military helicopter to a passing sports car, jump off a massive cliff, open your parachute at the very last second, and watch the explosion happen miles beneath you. The physics are completely absurd, and that is exactly why it is so much fun. Assassin's Creed Rogue. Finally, we take to the freezing, dangerous waters of the North Atlantic. This is Assassin's Creed Rogue. While everyone else was arguing over the launch of Unity or replaying Black Flag, this game quietly launched and delivered one of the absolute most compelling, morally gray stories in the entire franchise. For the very first time, you aren't fighting for the Brotherhood of Assassins. You play as Shay Patrick Cormac, a young assassin who becomes deeply disillusioned with the reckless actions of his mentors. He switches sides. He becomes a Templar. And you are actively hunting down the very people who trained you. The naval combat is tight, fast, and incredibly satisfying. You are navigating through treacherous, towering icebergs, violently boarding enemy ships in the freezing rain, and exploring colonial New York on foot. The environments are vast and richly detailed, capturing the freezing, harsh reality of the ocean perfectly. So, the next time you look at that tired old laptop sitting on your desk, stop seeing it as a frustrating limitation. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars to get lost in a massive open world. You do not need a glowing, liquid-cooled, heavy-duty tower to experience gripping stories, deeply satisfying combat, and beautiful, sprawling landscapes. The games are out there. They are fully optimized. They are heavily discounted. And they are ready to be played right now.